back. Welcome. My name is Cameron. I go by Cam the Stitcher here on Flosstube and on Instagram. And this is my first take of my intro, and I don't think this has ever happened. I usually have to say it about 15,000 times, but I'm gonna keep going. This is my friend. I never know what to put in the background because I just have this like empty space between my couch and all of my goodies. So I was like, you know what? She deserves a spotlight, okay? So she's here to stay. I took a little bit of a break. I was supposed to film the week I got back from vacation and I didn't feel like it. That's really it. I also didn't have like that much progress to show. I had really only worked on one thing while I was on vacation, and I kind of had a lot of goals that I wanted to get done when I got back, because I literally like did not stitch the whole week. I stitched in the car on the way there and on the way back, and that was it. So yeah, so I have lots of things, but I wanted to come back because I have lots of shout outs and thank yous, and I have books to talk about later. So I have one FFO, 2 finishes, I think only like 2 whips to show you, 2 new starts, and a little bit of haul, and then books, right? Is that all I have? I don't know. That was a little slice of what I'm about to serve you up. Also, this is a channel about cross stitch. Didn't say that. Clearly, I'm out of practice. I'm here. I have my vintage Twilight shirt from 2008, and I have a vintage Team Edward button, and it says, "You know you want to be dazzled." I don't know. I was talking to my friends about how we were talking about Twilight, I guess, because it's August. It's 90 degrees here still in Virginia, but I'm getting the taste of what is to come, which is cooler, breezier weather. And I have lots of comfort watches during that time, but one of them is the Twilight series, specifically for me, New Moon. New Moon is the best movie. You cannot argue with me. I mean, you can. We all have opinions, but I don't know. It's so funny because when I read the books in middle school, New Moon was my least favorite. And then the movies came out and I was like, hold on. It's so good. Okay, anyways. I'm going to stop talking about Twilight. I've been hyperfixating on a lot of stuff that's not cross-stitch. I've been hyperfixating on music and coming up with my own top 100 albums of all time because, I don't know, we were like talking about that. So I've been making lists, which I know for me, when I start making random lists of things, that's when like my ADHD is really going hard. So that's what I've been doing. I also decided to start playing video games again last night out of nowhere. Anyways, I want to do some shout outs real quick. I know we're like already 5 minutes into this and I haven't shown you a bit of stitching, but usually I get right into it. But I do really want to do some shout outs. So first of all, I had a couple people mention me that are newer in the Flosstube community, and not so new in the Flosstube community. So I wanted to mention them. So Subpar Stitches mentioned me. Super great channel. Go check her out. She has, I think, a handful of Flosstube episodes already out. If you like the kind of stuff that I stitch, especially more of like the subversive, modern, goth cross-stitch stuff, go check her channel out. Check out Whips and Kits. Super great. When I got back from the beach, I was like catching up on all of Flosstube, and I just had so much content to watch, and it was fabulous. So please go check out Whips and Kits. Allie Z, new to Flosstube, not new to the cross stitch world. Allie Z was incredibly nice and had reached out to me and sent me a really lovely message on Instagram. And yeah, already I think they have 2 Flosstubes out already, if I'm not mistaken. And then Elizabeth Savory on Instagram and Flosstube. I think she has about 2 or 3 videos out already. Go check her out. Super great projects. Again, she has a mix of lots of different things. So, and that's how I am as a stitcher. And I like watching all different types of stitchers. I love watching full coverage stitchers, sampler stitchers, you know, those more modern, contemporary stitching. Like, I love seeing it all. So, yeah, I want to thank all of you. And then I want to give a big thank you to Hello from Liz Matthews. If you are new here, I fell in love with Hello from Liz Matthews designed a pattern did a reproduction of a sampler called the Vanity Sampler. And I loved it so much. And I had this image in my head of like the girl that stitched this was like into, like, she was a little goth, but like Victorian goth. So I pulled a different conversion of colors from my DMC, and you all have been fantastic and fabulous and so nice and wanted that conversion for me. If you do want the Vanity Sampler conversion, I'll pop it up on the screen, like the mock-up here, but I will gladly send that to you over Instagram DM or email or whatever works for you. But Liz shouted me out in her one of her most recent Flosstubes and showed the DMC range of what I had picked for it. It's just been like, it's just so nice that the designer was like, you know, like I was very thankful for that. And Liz is a great designer. Like the new releases that are coming out, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need that, I'm gonna need that, and I'm gonna need that. Yeah, so that was really awesome. So I want to give a big thank you to Liz. And then I kind of wanted to go over my comfort watches in terms of floss tubes, and I'm not going to be able to list all of my comfort watches. I wanted to also list, like, I don't know, like, hopefully if you've heard of them, awesome, but if you haven't, I want you to go check them out. Wilda Woman Crafts. I've been actually watching her since she started, and I really enjoy her channel. And it's so funny because I realized, I was like, I haven't commented on like anything that she has posted. I sometimes I become like this fly on the wall on Flosstube, and I don't comment on people's videos or contact them in any way. And it's because I forget that I'm like part of the community. And in my head, like, anxiety tells me that if I message anybody, it's going to be a bother, which is not true. And also, if any of you ever message me and you feel that way, or you're scared to message me, don't feel that way. I am a human being. And I know my head does the same thing, so that's why I'm saying that. But anyways, Wilda Woman Crafts, fantastic channel. She just finished her Dark Queen, like finished it, backstitching, beading, everything. It's amazing. It looks so good. She does some like video game inspired stuff. She also does some more subversive cross stitch. I feel like she does some Forbidden Fiber Co. Designs, and she does some Halloween stuff. She does some Christmas stuff. She just does a lot of different things. And anyways, I really enjoy her channel. Very much a comfort watch. And then Megan the Wide-Eyed Stitcher. I'm sure everyone knows who she is, but I wanted to mention her because definitely a comfort watch. Just like, she's so soothing. I want to stitch on everything she's stitching. Like, she pulls out these patterns that I'm like, I've never seen that before, and I need it right now. Yeah, just super lovely, super nice. And then, let's see, Jordan the Tattooed Stitcher. Love watching her. Like, again, just a comfort watch. Like, I literally just, I feel like I'm sitting there just stitching with my friend. Yeah, she's awesome. Go check her out. She stitches on lots of Soda Stitch, Mirabilias, like Nora Corbett's, and then some other stuff sprinkled in here and there. So if you're interested, please go check her out. let's see, Hannah from Microbiologist Makes. Comfort watch times a billion. She's so fantastic, so soothing, so kind. She stitches on so many beautiful things. She FFOs so many beautiful things. And she also does like a little thrift segment where she kind of shows you maybe what she got from the thrift store, or antiquing, or she'll show you stuff that she also like didn't get but she saw and she thought was cool. And I love that because I love thrifting and all of that good stuff. Lauren from the New Hampshire Stitcher, Comfort Watch. If you know her, she stitches on so many beautiful things, and she's also hosting the Back to School SOW coming up in September, and I will be talking about that in plans later. And then Cross Stitch Kate, yeah, Caitlin is fabulous. I love her. Such a nice channel to watch. Just like, and again, I watch so many people, but it's just, you know, I turn Cross Stitch Kate on, or the New Hampshire Stitcher, or just like any of these people I'm listing, and it's just like, like I know that I'm gonna watch the full video from start to finish, and I'm just gonna sit there and like, it's just comforting. Okay, Julie in Stitches. She's deceased. Okay, Julie in Stitches. There's something about Julie, and I mentioned this when I first mentioned her on my video, but I just really truly love her. Like, I know that we've never met, and I know I'm putting this out here, but she's just so comforting. She reminds me of someone from my past who is no longer with us, and I think maybe that's part of it, Julie. Like, you exude this energy that I've only come across once in my life, and I think you're just such a kind and wonderful and unique human being. And anyways, so just, you know, confessing my love for you here. Soph, nope, I said that wrong. Soph. I'll put her name on the screen. Also a comfort watch, relatively new to Flosstube as well, but she, stitches on lots of cool things that I love. And yeah, I just really, when her video comes up, I'm like, fantastic. And then I'm trying to think, the Giddy Stitcher, not a traditional Flosstube type of channel, but it is still Flosstube. She cross stitches, but she's also a multi-crafter. So she knits and crochets and plays with resin and macrame and any type of craft she can get her hands on. She's going to post a video about it, and I love that. I love watching people that just like love to try new things, especially in the craft world, and kind of shows you and talks through the process of how they felt about it. Fantastic channel, lovely person. So yeah, go check out the Giddy Stitcher. And then, oh my gosh, is that it? Oh, I have one more. Lunar Witch Stitchery. Again, this is I'm like a fly on the wall situation with this channel. But they are just like a comfort watch for me. They stitch on several things. They're stitching on the Dark Queen. I think they're almost done with it. They're stitching on some like video game inspired stuff, and they stitch on some more like vintagey stuff that I think was from their mom's collection, which is super cool. And yeah, I enjoy their channel, and I watch the whole thing. I'm like watching the life update. I'm like, like I just really enjoy them. And if you're into witchy stuff, and if you are a fellow goth in any way, shape, or form, I think you would really enjoy their channel. So just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, I think that's it in terms of shout outs. There are so many more comfort. I obviously did not mention people that I've mentioned recently and that I mention literally every single video, like my besties. But I wanted to mention people that like I love so much and watch all their videos and watch the whole thing, and just, it's a comfort watch for me. Let's get into the stitching. So I have an FFO for you that I would love to show you. I posted this already on my Instagram. Again, if you want to go follow me on there, it's Cam the Stitcher, just like it is here. This is a chart that I just recently finished that I showed, I think maybe last time or the time before that. And this is 1905 Bird by Michelle Bendy Stitchy Designs. And I had the perfect frame for this, so I went ahead and actually framed it. And this is it. And I love it. This is a frame I found at a Goodwill. In Charlottesville, Virginia. So I was like, I visit there sometimes. It's near my hometown. And yeah, I just found this, and it had like just like a postcard in it, and it's really cute. There is a paint droplet probably from many years past on there, but I'm not taking that off. I think it adds to it. Also, I'm lazy and I don't want to take it off. But anyways, I laced this. It's not perfect, so I'm just gonna get that out there. I've only framed my own stuff. This is only my second time lacing a project into a frame. My first time was Haunted Library right here. And it's kind of difficult because like this is stitched at an angle. This is not stitched straight, I promise. So it was a little hard to line up, but I tried to get it as lined up down here as possible. But I think it looks fabulous. This was stitched on 36 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit, which is the called for, and then I used the called for sulky pack. But yeah, looking very fab. This guy is just adorable. I love the cherries so much. Anyways, so this was my FFO. I'm very happy with it. And thank you for all the love over on Instagram. But yeah. Okay, the next thing I'd like to show you, I have two pretty big finishes. I went to the craft store this weekend and I made a little, what do you call these? It's a board that you can show your finishes on, or your whips, whatever. I forgot what you call them. Anyways, I finally made one. But this is the Halloween wreath stitch along by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery that I've been working on all year, and I've been keeping up on all year. And so the last part was released this month, and it is now complete and ready to be FFO'd, which, you know, I'll get to that eventually. I'm so excited it's done. This was really fun to stitch on every month. I will say some parts I could get done in like 2 stitching days, and then some parts took like 3 to 4 days. So it just depended. But the last part was this section right here. So this little bottle and this upside down purple bat was the last section. So it started here, and then we kind of went back and forth around, and then we started basically going this way. But it's so pretty. So I think next month they're gonna release some instructions on how to fully finish this into a pillow, which I definitely want to do because I want this to sit on my couch. But yeah, so I'll do, she is adorable, adorable, adorable. I love this, like, you can barely see that it's got stars on it. Yeah, it's fantastic. I did backstitch the candles in the wrong color, but that happened so long ago and I don't care. So that is that. I already have some backing fabric. I think I have narrowed down. Actually, I have a project bag right here made out of it. I think I'm going to back it in this fabric because that's like just too perfect, in my opinion. And yeah, this is stitched on 28 count pewter by Picture This Plus linen, with all the called for DMC. I got this as a kit from Frosted Pumpkin. So yeah, I'm excited. I want to do the Christmas one, but I just haven't. I have a lot going on. So I can always wait. I can always start that in December if I like really want to. But yeah, this is super cute. So very happy with that. But yeah, so that's a big finish, complete and done. So once I got that done, I looked at my WIPGO numbers for this month, and one of my WIPGO calls was my oldest WIP. And if you've watched this channel, or if you watched one of my WIP parades, this is a full coverage kit that I got from Etsy by Luca S. back in, I think I might have bought it in 2020 or maybe very early 2021. And I think I started this in 2021. I'm pretty sure. And I had only left like a little bit. I basically stopped working on it at the end of 2021. And then I really only had a little bit left, and I left that. And so it was on my WIPGO for a finish, because I was like, if I don't finish this when I get this back out, it's never going to get done. Like, it's just going to sit there. I have complicated feelings about this, but let me just show you. So this is the completed kit. I think it's stitched on like 16 count Aida. It is dirty. I have not washed it because I don't really know what I'm going to do with this, to be honest. So I don't really want to wash it until I've made that decision. I only backstitched a little bit of the house, this woman, and then these cows. There was a lot more backstitching that was called for, but I wanted to be done with this so bad it's not even funny. So it's done in my book. I started this piece when I was at a job I hated. I was struggling in every way. No, I just wasn't like mentally a really good time for me when I was stitching on this, and I would stitch on it every day. Like, I would take it to work. And this was before I got into the world of Flosstube. It was before I like found that there were cool cross stitch patterns elsewhere. And not that this isn't cool, I just like, this doesn't really speak to me anymore. Like, I don't know where I'm going to put this, essentially, is what I'm saying. And when I had to get it back out, I was stitching on this section right here and finishing up this tree in the sky. And I had to get this back out, and it was just like stitching on it brought all of those memories back. And I was like, I was just like filled with anger. Like, I was like, I don't want to stitch on this. But it was so close to a finish that it would have been possibly ridiculous for me to just UFO this, throw it away, whatever you want to, like, whatever. I can do whatever I want with my own cross stitch. Let me get that clear. But I was like, I need to finish this. Like, it needs to get done. So it is done. I don't know that I will ever do anything with it. I will be honest. I don't want to put the time, energy, and money into framing this. So yeah, I might give it away to a family member if they want it. I don't know. I'm just not, this just doesn't bring me joy. And it honestly makes me want to cry a little bit. I don't think I want it hanging up in my house. And I know maybe that sounds like crazy, but I just don't. So I'm very happy it's finished. I mean, the weight off my shoulders, like, for real, is amazing. Oldest WIP is done. I need to now go evaluate what my oldest WIP is currently. I have a feeling it's a modern folk embroidery. But anyways, so those were my finishes. Sorry to get weird on you, but those were my finishes. Let me show you some new starts. So my friend Elizabeth, Frizzy Lizzie Stitches, she put out a pattern that just I had to immediately start. So, and now I think it's called Ken, or I'm Just Ken is the pattern name. But I'm gonna put a link to the pattern in for her Gumroad. You can also get it on Etsy, I believe, but I'm gonna put the links down below. And obviously you're looking at the pattern at the moment. This is so cute. I'm obsessed with the Barbie movie. I did the Barbenheimer double feature when they came out the opening weekend. We went to go see Barbie first at like 7 p.m. and then saw Oppenheimer at 10, I think. And so we did not get out of the movie theaters until after 1 a.m. at some point. It was a lot, but it was so fun. And like, when am I gonna do that again for real? Like, the hype around this like double feature was so fun and a cultural phenomenon that I'm very happy that I was a part of. Yeah. Anyways, Barbie movie was the best movie that's come out this year. If I'm making lists about my movies, I'm telling you, like, it's fighting for a spot in my top 5. Which, if you know me, my top 5 has not moved for many a year because I have some favorites in there. Oh my god, she's deceased again. My number 1 movie of all time is Nightmare Before Christmas. I am that girl. I know. I'm a Hot Topic kid. It's like borderline Disney adult, and it's fine, and I love it, and it brings me so much joy. And that's the beauty of life, is that we all love different things so much to our core that it makes us cry. And I think that's fantastic that we all like different things can bring us to tears of joy. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not like Elizabeth. A lot of people that are my friends are Swifties. And like, I get it. Emotionally, I understand where they are. I don't feel the same way about Taylor Swift, but I feel the same way about Lady Gaga. And I feel the same way about Nightmare Before Christmas and the Barbie movie. Pride and Prejudice 2005. That's my number. I don't know if that's my number 2. That might be my number 3. My number 2 is Across the Universe. I watched that in 5th grade for the first time. Blew my mind. I became like a Beatles kid for like a bit there. I had a phase. I've had lots of phases. Les Mis. Yep. 2012 Les Mis. Get into it. I don't care if you are a theater nerd and you read the books and you've seen the Broadway plays and you think it was bad. Don't care. It was life-changing to me. The soundtrack brings me to tears. The cinematography, the transition between songs. I don't care. It was amazing, and it makes me so happy. And anyways, so Barbie is like contending for a spot in my top 5. I don't know what I'm gonna have to knock, but I'm gonna have to give on that list because it was so good. Anyways, I'm so sorry. Here's my start. I'm all over the place today, but I don't really care. So this is my start. I'm stitching this on 32 count Monaco, like a blue Monaco I got a long time ago that I did not know what to do with. I'm stitching this 2/1 tent stitch, and all I have done is the D. And this is one of my new needle minders from Mad for Minders. She is literally so cute. I'm dead. She's fantastic. I'll show you, I have a couple. I got several actually, because I probably have talked about this before, but I don't have a lot of needle minders, so I made a purchase a while back. But yeah, so this is my start. I am very excited. I want to keep working on this and get to Ken and stitch him. I am going to change the color of the surfboard because it's like the same color as my fabric, so I'm just going to change it to a really hot pink, like a deeper hot pink than this. But yeah, that's it. So that was my new start. Love that. And then I had another new start. This is for hashtag Stitchy for Witchy. This is a stitch along that everyone should join. If you are a fan of the Witchy Stitcher and you want to support, please go through your whips, go through your stash, go to her website, purchase some patterns. This is being hosted by several of us in the Flosstube world and Instagram world that really enjoy the Witchy Stitcher. We had also done a similar stitch along for Sage of Night Spirit Studio, and really it's just like we're trying to uplift Meg from the Witchy Stitcher going through some medical issues that is, yeah, fuck cancer. That's all I have to say, and we all know it. And so anyways, we wanted to support her, so I had a new start for this. I am starting, or I did start, let me say, this is it, here we go. I started her apothecary shop sign. This is available as a PDF on her website and her Etsy, but I have this is from the Season of the Witch pattern collection from Starlight Stitchery. This was originally released in this book, but you can get this now as a PDF from her shop. But that's what it looks like. And I'm stitching this on Bronze Age by Bestitch Me. And this is where I'm at. Well, that doesn't work, does it? Trying to design board, that's what this is called. So that's my start. And that is another one of my new Mad for Minders needle minders. So I'm doing the back stitching as I go, and this is 40 count, so I'm stitching this 1/2 with DMC 310, and I'm doing the back stitching with 1 strand, and yeah. I started in the middle. I like starting in the middle. I also like starting in the top right-hand corner. I don't know, I start wherever it makes sense, but yeah. I'm excited. I'm just gonna pull this out when I feel like some monochromatic stitching because it's super easy. DMC 310. It's, you know, you pull it out and you're good to go. I love that kind of stitching. So that is my new starts. And then I really only have 2 whips to show you. So this one I was working on last night. I showed this to you last video. This is the Sewing Starfish Wizard Inventory Sal, and there's a new part coming out tomorrow. I am not going to be caught up with this Sal. I want to get that out of the way. I also have not started the Rare Horror Flies Sal. Have my fabric, have my DMC, haven't started it. Frame came out, I think a week ago. But I'm gonna get there. I'm not gonna keep up with either of these Sals. I'm going to stitch on them when I want to. And yeah, so no pressure on myself here. Anyways, this is my wizard and what he looks like now. So last night I went ahead and filled in the rest of his hat down here and up there. And then I came down and I started stitching this little medallion and his belt, some more stars, and then I got to this little lizard gecko thing. When I saw this pattern, this is like in his robe. I obviously haven't stitched around it yet, but when I saw that little gecko, I was like, are you kidding? I need that. I need it. My favorite pair of Claire's earrings back in the day, I had a silver pair of, literally looked smack like this shape of lizard, and it was just little studs, and I still have them today. I had a silver pair and I had a green pair. I still have the green pair today somewhere. But yeah, looking very cute. I got this needle minder from Top Knot Stitcher. And I think I showed that to you last time. This is stitched on a 40 count Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers fabric. It was a fabric of the month. and now I don't remember what it was called. So I don't remember. I probably said it in my last video, so if you really need to know. But yeah, it was fabric of the month, so I don't know if it's available, but I'm loving this so far. It's just a really fun, I mean, there's so many different colors in this. It's just a really fun stitch. My next whip, I caught up, I should say. I caught up on this yesterday. This took me a couple days to catch up on because I was 2 parts behind, but I am caught up. This is the Greenhouse of Oddities Stitch Along by Lola Crow, and we have 1 more part to go and we're done. And I am caught up, so this will be a finish probably by my next video for sure. So this is where I'm at. So I stitched my man's Darwin and this plant and this little thing and these flowers. That was 1 part, and then I went ahead and stitched these planters, which was the last part that was released. So I am officially caught up. I was theorizing about where the last part could possibly be. And I'm thinking there's these gaps here that will probably be filled in. Because it was filled in here, it was filled in over here, and it was filled in over here by that plant. So that's what I'm thinking. So I don't know if it's gonna be like up here or to the side or like a, I don't know, like a vine situation going through. Like something like, I don't know, like I'm thinking it's gotta be up top, but who knows? We will find out soon enough. I'm loving this, and I'm very happy to be caught up and to have this finished so that I can get it framed and put it on this wall. I'm stitching this on 32 count Timberwolf by Seraphim, and I'm stitching it with all the called for DMC 2/2. The back stitching as called for as well, so some of it's like 2 strands, some of it's 1 strand. But yeah. It is all good to go. It's a finish for now and will definitely be a finish by the time I see you next, I'm thinking. All right, the other thing I wanted to talk about was my Dark Queen of the Earth. So last time I revealed, I have not worked on her anymore, but I wanted to just let you guys know if you were interested in my recharting of her head, I did go and try to make a more readable pattern that kind of shows you where to start in the middle of the neck area and then go up. So if you are interested in getting my rechart of just her head, I can email that to you. So just if you DM me on Instagram with your email, or if you email me at camthestitcher@gmail.com, I will send you my chart. And the chart will be like, it'll be symbols only, black and white, and then I'll have a little like color key for you. And it's using all of the called for DMC, like there's nothing I added or anything like that. So let me show you my Mad for Minders. So this was one of them I got. This was on put on her business card. I got this really cool. I love moths. So yeah, if you're interested in these needle minders, they're really, okay, people talk about these all the time. They're really nice, like really good quality, really pretty, like the pictures are clear, if that makes sense. But yeah, Mad for Minders on Etsy. And then I got, this was, Emily C has this one, showed on her channel. And this is so cute. This is the Amityville house. So if you're a horror fan. This is the only not wooden one I got. She has wooden ones, and then she has like these, I don't know what you would call them, plastic. But this one's super cute. This is obviously from Nightmare Before Christmas. And then I got this one. I'm actually stitching this pattern from Heaven and Earth Designs. It's called The Fitting. So obviously I had to get this for that project. And then I got another cool moth, like butterfly fairy lady with eyes. I love eyes. My very first tattoo I got was eyes. Oh, and I have eyeballs over here. I forgot about that. Anyways, and then I got this little man. I don't know why, but this reminds me of my boyfriend, so I got this. And then one more, I got this really cute little vintage pumpkin. So yeah, very excited about that. I just like, now it's like, I don't know, like I have options. It's funny because I'm not like the biggest needle minder user, but now I'm becoming one because now I have all these really pretty needle minders. Okay, the next thing that I got some more Moe's Sale silk because I'm addicted. If you are interested in what I'm talking about, this is a silk dyer on Facebook. I will link the Facebook group down below. You obviously have to answer a couple questions and then you're in, essentially. So this batch that she was doing was all green. So, and I use lots of greens in lots of things. My idea for stocking up on some of these silks is for color conversions, for like charts that call for threads, some over dyed threads that like I don't love, don't use. I like to get bang for my buck, and these are all 17.4 yards of silk. So this one is called Spanish Olive. Like this is this color is used in so many like samplers and stuff, and like, you know what I'm saying? So this is gonna be great. This is Mantis. Really pretty. This is Juniper. I got 2 of these, I think. I sure did. I got 2 of these because it's really pretty, and I feel like this type of green is in lots of charts. This is Pear, getting a little bit brighter. This is Pickle, very cute. This is Artichoke. This is more on the blue-green side, very pretty. And then this is Crocodile, which is a great, like mossy, grungy green, yellowy green. So yeah, so I got some of those. I have another package coming tomorrow of Moe's Silk. She did a collection of pinks and reds, like pinky reds. Anyways, very excited about that. I also got my Fabric of the Month clubs. This one is from Stitchy Box. This is just a Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. So I'm in their 36 count Fiber on a Whim club. This is a fantastic neutral. I'm very happy to have a cut of 36 of this. This is a great, just like, if you want to start a sampler on a whim or kit something up that you just haven't found like the perfect neutral fabric for, this is the best. And then I got my Be Stitch Me, and this is called Lightly Salted, Not Roasted. And that's what that looks like. I really love this. It's like, okay, it's not really coming off so much on the camera, but it's kind of washing the warmth out of it a little bit. But this is definitely more like peachy toned in person. But it's another really great light neutral, which I don't have a lot of. So I don't know if you can kind of see the tones of peach in there. I feel like you can a little bit, but yeah, no idea what I'm gonna do with this. but it is in my stash and it is ready to be stitched on. I get 40 count from Stitch Me. And then the last thing I'll talk about haul wise, and this goes into plans. So September 1st, I think, is when it starts, is Lauren from the New Hampshire Stitcher is starting the BAP to School SAL. BAP, B-A-P, stands for Big Ass Project. And I have lots of those. But why not start another? The idea behind it was like back to school shopping was so fun for those of us that enjoyed that. And we don't get to do that anymore. So why not treat yourself to kitting yourself up a really nice big project, getting all of the things you need for it, the floss and the fabric and the pattern, and kind of hemming and hawing over it, and then starting it. So I showed that I picked this up at Dying to Stitch in Virginia Beach. I picked this pattern up. It is considered the Lilies, very popular pattern. And I really like this, but I'm not a religious person. So I have already recharted the verse I recharted it to a quote from Virginia Woolf from one of my favorite books, Mrs. Dalloway. So that's already done. And then I'm going to rechart the Adam and Eve, because yeah, I don't want that in my house. So just not appealing to me in any way and has no significance to me. So I'm going to rechart it, and I'm really excited. I got all of the DMC for it. I'm missing one that my Michaels did not have, but this is all of the DMC. Now I'm going to be stitching this on 40 count, and I'll show you that in a second. And I like to cut my DMC floss long, and what I do, because I'm going to reuse this DMC in other projects eventually, but what I do is I will pull one strand from my floss drop and I will cut that strand in half and then stitch with the one. And then I don't mind tying, if I only use half of that long strand, I'll just tie the rest of it here and use it when it comes up in the chart again. That's how I like doing it. Yeah, but for my over dyes, I do cut those much shorter, because for the most part, I'm stitching 1/2 with my over dyes, and I'm not going to be like loop starting those, if that makes sense. So I cut those short. I do have one Mose Sale Silk on here, and that is because I'm going to do the words in this color, and I will show you why. I was inspired by, there's I think this was released at Market. This is a Fox and Rabbit chart, and I forgot the name of it, but I will put it here. I really like the look of that fabric with the lighter colors of floss. And for the most part, all of these are lighter. Like, we've got the peaches, we've got these tans, we've got a lot of greens and some blues. But the darkest colors is like this dark brown. We've got another like darkish greenish brown, and then this really dark green. This dark green is what is called for this section, the lettering. So I was like, well, I want it to show up on my fabric, because I picked up 40 count Winter Wren by Fox and Rabbit, which is what that sampler by Fox and Rabbit was stitched on. And it's very dark. And I might regret this, but I got a whole half yard of this because this is a big project. And yeah, so I'm going to stitch Consider the Lilies on this piece of fabric, and I'm very excited. I'm hoping it gives me what I'm like picturing in my head. I think it will. If there's any parts of this that like doesn't show up super well, again, I'm really only concerned about that dark green, and that's in some of these like little plants, and then the dark browns and stuff. But like that's very easily changeable with DMC. That's why I did not get the called for over dyes. And yeah, also like I spent a good amount of money on this fabric, so I wanted to make this like accessible for me, and for me, I can't spend the money on the over dyes or silks or, you know, anything like that. So I chose to spend the money on the fabric. And the DMC is going to look beautiful. I'm very excited. So I'll be starting this September 1st with this fabric. Let me do a little, I didn't even do the best part, which is the floss toss. Let's see. So yeah. So like these are definitely, I think, here's the thing. I don't mind if it blends in a little bit, but I do at least want you to be able to see some of these smaller motifs. But anyways, I will make changes as needed if needed, but I'm very excited. So that is my plans for September. Sort of. That's the beginning of September. My birthday is also at the end of September, so I'll probably talk about that more later, but I already have a planned birthday start, and I also will probably be starting a bunch of really tiny smalls because I like to go all out for my birthday. I like to have like, that's what I did last year, is I started like 10 smalls, and I have finished now a good portion of them, and some of them are still whips, but they're gonna get done eventually. So yeah, that's it for stitching. That's it. Yeah. I do want to give a big thank you to Cassie, who utilized my Buy Me a Coffee link. She was entertained by something I said in one of my videos, and was nice enough to buy me a coffee. So thank you so much, Cassie. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into books. If you are not interested in books, you can exit out of the video, and I will definitely see you next time in about 2 weeks. But if you're here for some books, I'm here to talk about them. I've been reading a lot. I read a lot at the beach. That's what I did instead of Stitch. There is one book that I'm just not going to talk about on here because it's not appropriate, but if you are interested in what I read, you can follow me on Goodreads, and you can see some of my thoughts and feelings and like what I'm reading, what I've read, stuff like that. But I first want to talk about a book I finished yesterday. This is called The Girls by Emma Cline. So good. What I liked about this is set, it is a work of fiction. It's a fictional book, but it's set in the 1960s, and the main character is a 14-year-old girl who kind of falls in with what essentially is the Manson family. Like, let's be honest. So instead of the character being named Charles Manson, his name is Russell. He plays guitar and he sings. He's trying to get a record deal. If you know anything about the Manson family and Charles Manson, it is that story, but they've just basically renamed all the characters. But what I liked about it is that the focus is not on the Manson family so much. It's the focus is on this 14-year-old girl who is like a fly on the wall kind of situation, and you can kind of see how and why these young girls fell into this predicament. It offers a different kind of perspective, and if you've ever seen, I want to say, there's a movie that came out in 2018. I think it's called Charlie Says. It was with Matt Smith. He played Charles Manson, and then a bunch of wonderful ladies that played the Manson girls. And I really liked that movie because the focus was on the girls, right? The focus was on their inner turmoil and like how the hell this all happened. And so this book was more of that, and that's what I liked, is she has this sense of abandonment, and I think a lot of girls growing up feel this way. no matter what their circumstances are, they can come from a very wealthy family, they can come from nothing, but there is this sense that as girls, we do not belong, we do not have a place anywhere, and we're always constantly being watched and surveyed and tallied and assessed. And so she feels this sense of abandonment. She feels this sense of she doesn't belong anywhere. And so she meets this girl. They name her Suzanne in the book, and Suzanne is just like far out, like, you know, super hippy dippy, like freedom and love, and like, you know, kind of villainizing her parents that are divorced and don't pay attention to her, and her, you know, her mom's dating this new guy, and there's just like very I think that generation too, like they just, I think those parents just did not know what to do with their kids and just like let them run around, and like that's why there's so many true crime stories out of that time and so many cults out of that time. And so she falls kind of essentially in love with this woman. She idolizes this woman, and she's 14, and she falls into this, and it's just like big trigger warning for SA and, you know, cult like things that if you don't want to read about that, don't read this book. But it was a new perspective, and what I really liked about it, and this is like semi a spoiler, but not really, like obviously you know if you know the Charles Manson story, it follows that exact same story, that these girls and this one guy who they rename in the book, they go and commit these murders. And so the main character is not a part of those murders. There is an interference, but she, as an adult, she's thinking about it, and like she's thinking like maybe they saw that I wasn't capable, I wouldn't have been capable of doing those things. And then by the end of the book, she kind of reflects more, and she's like, I think they interfered because they knew I could do those things, because of the anger that was built up inside me. And just like she was a victim, the main character was a victim of a lot of things, and like she had this hatred for these men that were victimizing her. And so if put in that situation, what would she have done? You know, it's like this, it's crazy. It's such a good book. I really, really enjoyed it. Gave it 5 stars. It was a very quick read as well for me. So anyways, I will move on because I could probably talk about that for literally years. But yeah, if you're not into true crime and you're not into those types of subjects, don't read the book. I read The Lost Apothecary. And I also read the London Seance Societies, like back to back. So I'll talk about The Lost Apothecary. This one was good. I did give it 4 stars. It was a little hard to connect with the past part of this. So it goes from POV of like present time. This woman goes to London. She's having marriage problems. She goes on this trip by herself that she was planning on going with her husband. And she goes mudlarking. And mudlarking is where you can go to the River Thames and like go with a group and essentially like get in the River Thames and like dig around in the mud and find cool things. And so she finds this really cool like glass apothecary bottle, and it doesn't say anything on it. All it has is like a bear like emblem on it. And so she got really interested and she wanted to research it. And so she goes to like the library and talks to this librarian and like kind of gets swept up into trying to find out what this apothecary bottle is and where it came from. And then it goes into the past at this apothecary where this woman is running this secret apothecary where she helps women get rid of men. Let's say that. And she is one day visited by a very young woman, like who's only like 12 or something. And she's like, oh, I'm not, like, I can't help you, you know, whatever. But anyways, they kind of fall into, they have to help each other, and it gets involved with all this stuff. And so it's going back and forth. So I had a little bit of a difficult time connecting to the past POV, because I was like, kind of going back and forth was a little difficult for me. But I got into it eventually. And then I was so set on giving this book like 3 stars. I was like, I'm just not into it. I hadn't finished it yet, but I was like so set on that. And then I got to the end and I was like, okay, never mind. I was like, hold on. Like, they got me back into it. The ending was really good. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so honestly, like, out of these 2 books that I read by the same author, I would say definitely read, The Lost Apothecary. I really enjoyed that one. The London Seance Society I read second, and that one was all set in the past. You go back and forth from this woman, her sister is murdered, and she's studying to be like essentially like a seance person. I don't know what you want to call it. Back then, like, London and that time period, people were kind of obsessed with like the occult, but in like a good way. Like, they actually, not in a good way, but they had like, people were actually interested in it, and they would have these seance parties, and like, you know, that was a legitimate like business to go to, like, once your loved one passed away, like if you wanted answers or you missed that loved one or whatever it was. So yeah, she's studying to be like a seancer. And then it goes to this other guy who he helps run the London Seance Society. And of course, that society is all men. Women are not allowed to be in it. And there's some weird going-ons. And his boss gets murdered. So there's 2 murders. There's like, they're trying to figure out stuff. It's interesting. But it wasn't that interesting. I don't know. The ending was kind of like, okay. I don't know. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, like, I kind of saw things coming, but I don't know. So yeah, that's why I gave this 3 stars. It just wasn't as good as The Lost Apothecary, but yeah. But if you like those types of books, like, it was very historical, like, but it wasn't too convoluted. Like, it was readable, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you're interested. And the last book I'm going to talk about is Fourth Wing. Now, I'm going to caveat what I'm about to talk about with the fact, if you enjoyed this book and you loved it so much and you gave it 5 stars and you can't stop talking about it and you were part of the hype train, I support you and I love you and I get it. I will not be on the same train, but I will give you reasons why. Number 1, I read the audiobook, and I have heard that people are not super into the audiobook, and so that could be where part of me, you know, that could ding me a couple points on there. We'll say that. Number 2, the hype. If I had not seen the hype about it, maybe I would feel a little bit differently. But y'all hyped this book up so much. And I started reading it. And it took me till, I don't know, hour 6 to like actually get into it. The first 30% of the book, I was like, I don't like care. I could not connect with the main character. I couldn't connect with anything. I was like, this is weird. It's not weird, but it was just like, I was weirded out by how I couldn't connect. I was like, what is happening? Because everything lines up to be where I should be interested, but it was a lot. I think it's a lot thrown at you at once, I will say. Like, the whole system, the whole schooling, the dragons, the riders, the first years and just the wings, the wing leaders, like all of that, it's all like very much thrown at you. And it's difficult for me, it was difficult to grasp on and connect. Number 3, this read young adult. I mean, it very much read young adult. And again, you can blame that maybe a little bit on the audiobook. But it was very, and there's nothing wrong with young adult. I want to say that, make that clear. I love young adult, but it wasn't what I expected. And I was like, okay. And like the main character, Violet, is very like, the way she talks about her love interest, I was like, have you been living under a rock? Like, have you never seen a man in your life? And maybe I'm being like, okay, all of this comes with like the caveat of like, this is what's going on in my brain and I'm allowed to think what I want. But I just like, was like, what? It was almost comical to me, the way she talked about Xaden. I was like, girl, what is wrong with you? It like made me laugh so hard. Like she would say these things and I'd be like, ew. Anyways, it read young adult. And so when there was spice in this book, I was a little like, I'm not gonna lie, the spice is good. Like, it's a lot spicier than I thought it was gonna be. But I was also like, this feels out of place a little bit. Like, I don't know if I can. It's just, this book makes me laugh really hard because it's like, I was having this like moment, like I was like Jim from The Office, like looking at like the camera. I was like, I was looking for a camera to look at, like, y'all really liked this that much. But anyways, all of that to say, I've gone back and forth of how I feel about this book quite a bit, because once I did get into it, I will say the story did really grab me. By the time bonding ceremony happened and things started to really like get a roll on, I was like, all right, I got into it. I eased into it. I think if I look at it as it is just what it is, I think I really did like it. Towards the end, I was like, all right, like, sure, I'm gonna read the second one. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna keep reading the series, but like, it was just funny. It was really hard to connect in the beginning. I don't really like the main character. I think there's something to say. The fact that let's compare this book to what it needs to be compared to, and that is that this book has lots of parts of other young adult series that I have read in the past. I'm not going to mention all of them because I don't want to, but one of them I will mention is Hunger Games, right? So the part of this book is like, these people are in this dragon rider school, and like, you can die at any moment, right? And so part of that like pressure and danger and the way the government is kind of set up and their secrets and, you know, all of that reminded me of Hunger Games. I'm sure obviously it reminds you of lots of other stuff, but my first thought was Hunger Games. The thing about Hunger Games is Katniss, Katniss has had a lot of adversity in her life. And I think she is more of a tortured soul. And she's filled with more anger and like a little bit more grit and these things. And so when you read Fourth Wing, Violet, the main character, she has had some adversity in her life too. Like, there are things that have happened in her family that I would think would make her a little bit more mature, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. She just didn't. It's just really fun. Some of the things, like her inner dialogue and just like, I don't know. But all that to say, I did actually like the book. I will keep reading the series. Do I think it was like, it was not a 5-star for me. And I have to take away a 1.5 stars because the first part of the book was so hard to get into, and I do take issue with some of the choices for the main character and like her inner dialogue and like this, I don't know. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say. If you loved Fourth Wing, I'm so happy. I'm there with you. I'm here with you. I promise. Okay. I love stuff that people can, you know, criticize too. I think that's part of the fun, is criticizing stuff. For me, that's definitely what this was for. Like, I had a good time laughing at some of these moments in the books, in the book, yeah, that's the beautiful thing about art, right? Is like, we can all have different opinions and different thoughts and feelings about it. So anyways, same goes with cross stitch. And you know what? Let me say it. Same goes for Flosstube. If you don't like someone's channel, or if you don't like the way they do something, there's this thing called a remote, or your finger, or where, like, whatever you're watching on, you can just go to someone else's video. It's really simple. You don't have to leave a comment. So that is all I have for you today. So I am going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in 2 weeks with more stitching and more books, and yeah. Bye, baby.
What are you doing?